Welcome everyone to my channel. If you haven't been here before, please sit down. We are going to talk about The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. Yes, I know in my March TBR draw that I did, there was not the Queen of Nothing, but I realized that I only had 6 and I forgot why I only drew 6. So I said, let me draw another one. And this one popped up. Was that good luck? I don't know. I don't know if it was good luck or not, but whatever. We're going to actually get to this, which means we're going to only have one more book after this to read before we finish out this series. Isn't that something nice? Though I don't know if how the King of Elfheim learned to hate stories is related to this. I mean, it might just be like a spin-off or something. I don't know. Yeah. He will be the destruction of the crown and the ruination of the throne. Power is much easier to acquire than it is to hold on to. Jude learned this lesson when she released her control over the wicked King Cardan in exchange for immeasurable power. Now exiled mortal Queen of Fairy, Jude is powerless and left reeling from Cardan's betrayal. She bides her time, determined to reclaim everything he took from her. Opportunity arrives in the form of her twin sister, Taryn, whose life is in peril. Jude must risk venturing back into the treacherous fairy court and confront her lingering feelings for Cardan if she wishes to save her sister. But Elfheim is not as she left it. War is brewing, and when a powerful curse is unleashed, panic spreads throughout the land, and Jude is forced to choose between her ambition and her humanity. Ow! Why must you bite me? That's right, look at the camera. Look at the camera! You wouldn't even look at the camera properly. You are not a very good proper cat camera. Now you're in the middle of the... Thank you. So, let's just say, in the beginning, Jude is extremely depressed, and she takes on a job, and this job is to stop a fairy from eating other fairies in the mortal world. And who happens to find? Someone who used to be part of the Court of Teeth. Her name is Grima Mog. Or Grima Mag. Anyways, she's a red cat. So, Jude, who knows how to fight with them, challenges her to a duel and actually bests her in said duel. Sorry, I'm trying to get my cat to not bite me. And Jude wins, of course. But she's very battered and she goes home, beaten up and everything like that, to find her sister to find Heather. Heather is there. And she's like, well, how long have you been there? She goes, well, sometimes I just come here to think about the past and everything. Heather wants to forget about Fairy and Fays and all of that lovely stuff because she thinks it would be best for her. But Jude's like, no. Then they go inside because Heather's like, let me help you inside. I don't care about your sister Vivi. After she learned that Vivi did everything that she did for Heather because Vivi was putting up with being in Fairyland and Elfheim to protect her sisters, but she left it all behind for Heather, whom she's in love with. When they go inside, her twin sister Taryn is there. Okay, Taryn is there to plead her case about something, and what that case is, she killed her husband Locke, whom she married in the Wicked King, because of an argument about how things needed to change and how he needed to change how he treated her, because she's pregnant with his kid, and that's the whole reason for the argument. So Jude, who can lie because she can't be glamoured, goes before King Cardan to lie for her sister. Cardan, who knew it was Jude in the beginning, was ready to just let everything go because obviously he cares more about Jude. After the disaster that was my camera, it died. It died. I don't know why it died, but it died. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So he knew it was Jude, and he goes to talk to her by himself. And he's talking about letters that he wrote to her, and that he was afraid her ambition died when she went back to the mortal world, and she doesn't understand what that is. And then her father has people rescue her, and they literally whisk her away, and now she's in a campment where she's with Orion and the Court of Teeth, and she also doesn't actually meet, but is introduced to Lady Nor, Lord Gerald, and their daughter, Queen Surin, who's got a brittle in her mouth, like they're controlling her. She knows that the bomb and the roach were forced to serve them maliciously. They were forced to be served. And she's trying to scheme away her to leave because she knows she can't be there. She knows she can't do lies and everything correctly because she's not Terran. She can't actually be her sister in the way that, covers things up in front of people that they've known most of their lives. So, yeah. She finds in a cave that's nearby with guards protecting it as she's trying to slip away to leave the ghost. Now, the ghost says, look, Locke learned my real name. I told him my name. What was it exactly? So when he killed Locke's mother, he was stricken with guilt, and he told Locke his real name. And for a while, Locke didn't use it, but then Locke did, and Locke commanded him to bring Jude to the Tower of Forgetting and let the Undersea abduct her. And then gave the name off to Maddox. So Maddox knows Locke's real name. So he's been using Locke to learn a bunch of information, especially about Jude, trying to find a weakness for all of them. So he can sit there and use it to his will, because he wants the throne, and he wants it badly. He wants it badly. So, he says, Grimson, who's the smith who made the crown, who made a lot of things, has the key to his shackles. And so she's like, okay, well, I'm going to help you get out, and you're going to help me leave. We're going to help each other. I'll rescue you, but you have to help me in return. Because she's technically in exile, and she's not supposed to be back in the Fairylands, but she's trying to protect her sister from being executed or whatnot for killing Locke. Of course, since they don't think Terran did it, Narcissus, what is her name? Nacasius thinks Jude killed Locke. So that's 108 pages and all the things that happened within it. We will get back to this. I'll probably update you every 2 days of my reading. But yes, I am enjoying this so far.
I have finished The Queen of Nothing. I apologize. I did not update you as often as I should have. I have reasons. Okay. So the day I was going to read and then update you was Wednesday. Okay, it's Saturday now. So Wednesday I was like, okay, I'm going to read and then I'll update you on what I've read. And then I found out that we had a big ass storm coming with a possibility of tornadoes. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll still read, but I won't update. I was like, I'll update Thursday or something. I didn't sleep much Wednesday night, like about 3 hours maybe of that whole time. So I was like, okay, I'll go home after work Thursday, and because I went to work, and I'll read, and then I'll go to sleep, and I'll update on Friday. That didn't happen. Fuck no at all. So then I was like, okay, I'll read Friday and then update you. When I finally got around to reading and ending it, it was 10:30 at night, and I was like, ugh, I'll just update them tomorrow. Saturday, here we are, updating you. Finish the book, yay! Also, technically, I've learned that how the King of Elfheim learned to hate stories is actually just a couple short stories. One about Carden growing up in an adventure after the Queen of Nothing. Technically, not part of this. It's just like cross between a prequel and a prequel and some little bit after. So it's not really another book that comes after the series. It's not part of the series officially, you know. So okay, so where we left off is that she found out about the ghost. Ariana knows that she's not Taryn, and so she sits there and obviously tries to protect her, and she's like, look, I'm not going to betray my husband, but I don't want you to get killed either. And so Jude's like, well, send a message to Vivi and she'll come get me. I've been trying to figure out how to escape because I didn't want to trick you guys or anything like that. So that's what she does. And then she learns about the maps and everything, and then her learning about the maps and everything tips Maddock off, so Maddock does actually figure it out. So he releases the ghost to go do something. Commands to go do something. Right? Okay, there's that. So she goes to go release the ghost after Carden and the Roach come to free him with Vivi, Taryn, and a friend waiting. Right? So she goes to release the ghost. Roach gets hit with something that makes him fall into a fit and sleep, and she's like, Carden, take him back to the bomb. The bomb will figure out what it is and cure him. Go. So he gives her his cloak, which is basically an impenetrable cloak, and says, okay, I will wait for you. I'll go. She goes there, she confronts Maddock, and Maddock's like, you're too late. I've already sent him off to kill. Would it be better for him if he died in the throne room? And so she's like, shit, I gotta go. So she runs away. Eventually she turns around and faces him, and they fight, and she gets stabbed by Maddock, and he's like, oh, you're dying. And while that's happening, after she gets stabbed and she falls, Taryn shows up, Vivi shows up, Grandma Mog shows up. And so Maddock backs off and leaves because Jude refuses to go with him because, like, well, I can heal her, let her bring her back to the camp. She's dying. I refuse. So, as Taryn's stitching her up, she pleads that she doesn't want to die. And she gets healed. The land freaking heals her. She is recognized by the land as the Queen of Elfheim, even though she's mortal. She she grabs one of the horses that they have and says, follow behind me. I gotta go. The prince is in danger. Well, Carden's in danger. So she goes to Maddox Manor to change her clothes. She goes to Maddox Manor to change her clothes, right? And then she finds her, gets her way inside the palace up to where the throne room is, and she goes to hide herself there after sending a message saying that danger, an assassin, right? Carden's a danger, assassin. She gets herself up into the rafters, and she's looking for the ghost. Bum comes up, sees her, and tries to attack, not realizing that it's Jude, and that Jude's not trying to assassinate him. She falls, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, the exile, throw her in prison. And Carden's like, she's not an exile, and she's also my queen. So she's taken to his room and stitched back up and healed. Just slightly, you know. She wakes up. Taryn, Oak, Vivian are there. One of the people that she was training with fan, becomes her knight, her guard. Then there's also Grandma Mog, which she makes her Grand General. Then they learn Nissa gets a call from the Undersea about how her mother has been attacked with this worm-like thing that almost reached her heart and almost killed her. And they realize that it's Maddox doing, that's where the ghost was sent, and that he was going to use that as leverage. So here they are preparing and shoring up and trying to figure out what they need to do to protect everything. And then there's one smexy scene, and it's not very spicy at all for a smexy scene between Carden and Jude, but I'm so happy that they have a smexy scene. And he literally confesses to her that he loves her, and she doesn't get to confess it back. He's like, you have my heart. So, when Maddox comes with a parlay with his people behind him, they have the king and queen sitting there, and he's like, haha, when I thought you were dead, you still surprised me. And he's like, you are risen even higher in the ranks. Impressive. So he's like, I have this sword here for you. I'm going to give it to you. We're going to make... You have two choices. And Carden's like, put the sword down. And he slams the sword down, and it cracks open the earth and destroys the throne. He's like, you can give me the crown, and we can figure out how to put it on my head, or we're going to duel, and I will kill you. And Carden's looking, going like, he makes this good speech. He makes a really good speech, and I love the fact that he makes this speech. Of course, I don't love what happens afterwards, but the speech was really, really good. I'm trying to find it. Yes. Here it is. Okay, so he sits there and says, Queen Mab created this crown to keep her descendants in power, but vows should never be to a crown. They should be to a ruler, and they should be of your own free will. I am your king, and beside me stands my queen, but it is your choice whether or not to follow us. Your will shall be your own. And then he breaks the blood crown. Now, Jude should have said something before this, but she was trying not to undermine Carden because Maddox thought that she still controlled Carden, even though she didn't. And she didn't want to sit there and say something and Carden listen to her and make Maddox think that she still controlled him. But she learned that Grimson had put a curse upon it, and he cursed it to protect it for all time. And it was because he wanted his to work to endure as just as Queen Mab wanted her line to endure. So then he's like, folk of Elhain, will you accept me as your king? Many of them responded back, choosing to swear his fealty. But Grimson's screaming, no, my beautiful work is supposed to last forever. And so he turns back to look at Jude to say something, but nothing happens. And then, as he looks back, he starts transforming into a giant fucking snake. The curse that Grimson gave. This is why there's a snake on this. I understand that now. So, yeah. He turns into a giant snake. Oh my gosh. From there, a lot of things happen. She meets with Maddox again, and Maddox in the Court of Teeth, and of course the queen says fucking nothing, that little girl says nothing, but the two older ones who control their daughter, they sit there and say, here is the golden bridle, we'll give it to you, all you have to do is put it on the snake, and you will be able to command the snake. Twine your hair around it, and you both will be bound. Mag's like, yeah, we'll make a deal. I'll advise you. You'll give you back a position of power, and you can rule on the throne with your snake for all eternity. I'll just be, your advisor. And I will be the only one, because you'll get rid of the living council. And of course, the two Court of Teeth wanted their queen to marry Oak when he was put on the throne. So she's like, well, I can't promise you that, the marriage, but we'll strike our deal as soon as I put this on Carden, the snake. So she accepts it, but she doesn't say that she's going to grant them anything until afterwards. Let's see. Somebody tells her, I think it's Mother Marrow, who sits there and talks about the brittle and how that putting your hair on it will actually bind you with that word. So if she had put her hair on it and put it on Carden, both of them would be bound, and then the Lord, Jarl, I think his name is, Jarl will sit there and say the command and be able to control both of them. And of course, obviously he was going to kill Matic to be able to gain power. Ooh. She learned that, and she's like, okay, well, we're not going to do that. So she actually heals the roach, because the bomb sits there and asks about it. And so she heals the roach, finally using the power of the land to heal the roach and make him wake up and be well. So the roach goes out to get hairs from the Lord Jarl, and she takes hairs from Matic, and they have this little party, and she's like, we have come to an agreement, we have worked out our issues, we're going to work together to take care of the giant snake. And so she goes out, and they have this plan. People from the west, the north, and the east are going to shove in where she is, leading the snake to her. So she walks up to the snake, and the snake doesn't attack her. It's attacked everybody but her. And so she's holding the brittle, but then she puts it away, because she's not going to use it. Instead, she's like, I don't want you to live like this. I don't want you to suffer for all eternity like this as a giant snake with no way of controlling anything. And so she just lops off his head using the sword that she got from Severin. And I'm pretty sure, what is the sword called? Heartsworn, which can cut through anything. So the fight breaks out after she lops off Carden's head, because that's not what Matic and the Quarter Teeth wanted. So they're all fighting. And then Matic comes upon her and goes, stand up. That's what she does. She's like, you've already won. Turns her head to the giant snake's body, and out walks a very naked, bloodied Carden. It's like the curse has been lifted. Your king has returned. So all the fighting stops. They arrest Matic. They arrest the soldiers and everything like that. And so they go back, and he asks how many days. She's like, 3 days, that's it. It wasn't very long, 3 days. She heals up, and then they have a coronation for her, and for him, of course, obviously, with oak, with these handmade crowns that they God made that were not attached to the earth, of course. So they put on, Oak puts, with Vivi's help, Oak puts the crown on Carden's head, and then puts a crown on Jude's head, and they're coronated as King and Queen of Elfhame officially. And then she deals out punishment. One group of soldier goes, I'm the one who speaks for the soldiers who left. I forgot what it was. He admits to Jude before they go out for their coronation that when he was in that serpentine thing, he knew he could not reason. There was only feelings, hatred and terror and desire to destroy. But he knew little else. But he knew her, always. Okay, so they're given gifts. The ones who did. To Grimamog, who was their Grand General, Grimson's final work was a sword that he made for the sword he made for Matic. Of course, Grimson's Carden ate Grimson as a snake. Okay, killed him. To Taryn Dorata, Jude's sister, he sits there and gives her the Locke's estate and land for her and child, and for the shadow of the court, so that way they can be out and about, out of the shadows for a while. They give them a mask, so that when they wear it, no one will be able to recall their height or the timbre of their voice, and that the mask will let no one in Elfhame turn them away. Every hearth will be open to you, including his. So the petitioners were for what punishments that Jude would give out. So one soldier, there are two notes that come forward, and one says, "I have been tasked to plead for all those whose story is as mine. Once we were a part of the army, but we knowingly went with General Maddox to the north when our vows were lifted. We betrayed the High King, and we sought to end his reign. We were wrong. We wish to atone and prove we can and will be loyal from this day forward." And the other one says, "I have been tasked to plead for all those whose story is as mine. Once we were part of the army at Felfheim, and we knowingly went with General Maddox to the north when our vows were lifted. We betrayed the High King and sought to end his reign. We have no wish to atone. We followed our commander faithfully, and though we will be punished, still we would not have chosen otherwise." So, for those who don't wish to atone, become falcons in earnest. Fly through the skies and hunt to your heart's content. But you will not have your own true form back until such time as you hurt no living thing for the space of a full year and a day. And the knight asks, "But how will we eat if we can hunt nothing? The kindness of others will have to sustain you." And then she's like, "To those who would atone, we will accept your vow of loyalty and love. You will once again be part of the hardship, but you will be marked by your betrayal. Let your hands always be red, and so stained with the blood you hoped to shed." Lady Nor, because Lord Jarl is dead, I'm pretty sure arrows stuck him in the throat. And Queen Suren, whose crown is still sewn on her head, but she has no leash that binds her. And Lady Nora's like, we would have followed you. Have we not been punished? No. Let's return to the north. So Drew's like, "Lord Jarl tried to trick me into bondage. Did you know that?" She said nothing, because she cannot lie. And she says, "You?" And the little girl says, "I know all the secrets they think they hide away." And Oak comes forward, and he's like, "I wish to help her." So she's like, "My brother has asked for allegiance. Queen Suren, will you swear your loyalty to the crown?" "I am yours, High Queen and High King." "I would like to hear you make a vow of loyalty to your queen." "Of course I give you..." She's like, "No, not to me. To your queen. To her. The queen of the Court of Teeth." She's like, "Suren, yes, swear to her. She is your queen. Is she not? You can either make your vow, or you can wear the golden bridle yourself." So she mutters the words, and she's like, "Good. The High Court will keep the bridle and hope it never need be used. Queen Suren, because my brother interceded for you, I send you on your way with no punishment but this. The Court of Teeth will be no more. Your lands belong to the High Court. Your titles are abolished, and your strongholds will be seized. And you, nor attempt to defy this command. Remember that it will be Suren, to whom you swore, that punish you in whatever way she see fit. Now go forth and be grateful for Oak's intercession." And then Benedict comes in, and at first she says nothing, and he's like, Carton's like, "Have you nothing to say?" He's like, "I surrendered on the battlefield. What more is there? The war is over. I have lost." And he's like, "I want a quick death. And I know I bear no grudge." So, she's like, "I told you once that I am what you made me, but I am not only that. You raised me to be uncompromising. Yet I learned mercy. And I will give you something like mercy if you can show me that you deserve it. First, you will swear to forget the name that you know. You will put it from your mind, and it will never again fall from your lips or fingers." He's like, "Would you like to hear what it is first?" And she's like, "No." "Second, you must give us your vow of loyalty and obedience. And third, you must do both of those things without hearing the sentence for your crimes, which I will nonetheless bestow on you." He agrees, and she says, "I sentence you to live out the rest of your days in the mortal world and to never put your hand on a weapon again." Vivi's happy at first that her father's coming to live in the mortal world. She's like, "The best gift you've ever given me. I got to do all this stuff." And then turns like, "You do know he's going to get bored and then micromanage your life." And she's like, "Oh." So Heather did return to the mortal world. Now Heather was in on this. Heather was here for a lot of things because she was here for she saw a lot of stuff. I didn't mention her, but yeah, she came. She came when Vivi and Taryn and Oak came to rescue Jude. Back when she was captured by Maddox. Technically captured by Maddox. But she stayed behind with Oak at the castle, the High Court, to protect him, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, She had made a promise to Vivi first. We will go, but when we return, you will wipe my mind of you and everything to do with the Fairylands. And then she confesses to Jude that she made a decision in haste, and she regrets it. And that she doesn't want to forget any of it. And so she's like, well, you gotta tell Vivi this. You have to do this. You have to tell her that you don't want to forget her. That you don't want to go back to not knowing her. And so they make another compromise through a bunch of yelling and everything. They make another deal. She's like, when we get back and I lose my memories, you are to reconnect with me and make me fall back in love with you and explain everything in the beginning. And then I will remember everything again. So that's what she does. She re-meets Heather. She starts getting her to fall in love with her. And Heather's like, oh, Carden goes and gets pizza and wears normal clothes. And it's so funny. He doesn't know none of this stuff and he's just learning it all. It's a little happily ever after thing going there. The Bomb and the Roach. He actually confessed at one point, and she confessed back that the feelings were returned. So the Bomb and the Roach are a couple. Yay! Carden and Vivi and Carden. The ghost is showing favor towards Taryn, so he might actually go after and try to be with Taryn. Carden and Jude get together. Yay! Vivi and Heather. Yay! And while they're eating pizza, they have this weird ass toast to family in Fairyland. Pizza and stories and new beginnings and scheming great schemes. Oak decides to stay in the living room because Maddie gets banished there, and Ariana goes with him. Decides to go with him. So he wants time with his parents because even though he's lived there for a year and even though the danger's past and he can go back to the Fairyland, he wants time with his parents, which is understandable. Taryn, who is pregnant with Locke's child, will obviously go and live in Locke's estate. Vivi and Heather, of course, are going to be back together. So it's a happily ever after all around, and I'm really happy for that. I really am. I am glad it's a happily ever after type deal thing. I'm super glad it's a happy ever after. So my favorite character would have to be, oh my god, who would be my favorite character in this? Heather. Because she got tossed into this world, and then she was at first really mad about it and didn't want anything to do with it, but then she realized it was growing on her, and she enjoyed it, and she wanted to be a part of it, and stay a part of it, and she regretted wanting to lose her memories at first, because after she took some time to realize that the world was better off than what she knew it was, she came back around. My most disliked character, Maddox. You wanted the throne so bad, you were willing to kill Jude several fucking times for it. That's just terrible. What stood out as memorable? The prophecy that was made about Carden. That he would be the ruination of the throne and the destruction of the crown. Quite fucking literal. And the only thing after that was that only when his blood is spilled will a great king rise. It was fucking literal to the fucking dot. The ruination of the throne was because of Maddox. He destroyed the crown. And only after Jude spilt his blood by taking off the serpent's head, did he come out of it. And he was going to be a great king. So, the whole prophecy was meant that he would be an excellent king. It was just other things had to happen before that to ensure that a great king would rise. So he wasn't actually the ruination of the crown in a way that meant the destruction of Elfheim. It just meant the destruction of the crown, and that the people would swear their loyalty in a different way. They would have to keep their word, obviously, but they weren't swearing it to the crown. They weren't compelled in that they couldn't betray. It was they had to do it out of actual willingness. And they had to hold themselves to it instead. And with the abomination of the Court of Teeth, they don't have to worry about that terrible thing ever happening again. My favorite passage. Oh my lord, I don't know if I have a favorite passage. I have a lot of stuff that I have for quotes that I enjoyed the fuck out of. But passage? I don't know. Like, I have a lot of favorite quotes. This one had like, I don't think I can just choose one. Okay, I guess I highlighted this for a reason, so I'm gonna do this one. How do people like us take off our armor? One piece at a time. There we go. There's a few quotes in here that I really enjoyed, and they were all made by Carden. He's just my sweet butterfly of a guy. Like, I don't know what you want from me. He was really good at what he was. I'm trying to find all of them so I can just go through the quotes of what I want to go through. But, like, I guess I gotta find it. I gotta find them all. Where? Oh, that was a very slap in the face thing when Taryn said that. Okay, so he says to her, "It's you I love. I spent most of my life guarding my heart. I guarded it so well that I could behave as though I didn't have one at all. Even now, it is a shabby, worm-eaten, scabrous thing, but it is yours." It's so sweet. It's just like I gotta tell him one day. So sweet. And then I knew little else, but I always knew you. And she does say, "I love you." She confirms it, and it's that. It's so wonderful. I'm so happy for them. What did I thought about the end of the book? It was perfect, and well, okay, it's not that perfect, but it's as perfect as it's gonna get. It was nice. I loved it. I think it was actually a good ending for the book, and actually it was perfect. It was perfect in the way I wanted it to be. So this was a good book, and I'm glad it's accumulation, and it was excellent read. It was excellent. The third part of the series, good, loved it, and I am happy that I read it. I might try some of other of Holly Black's books because this I loved. What book did it remind me of? You know, it's not every day that everybody that you rooting for, every couple that comes along, gets their happily ever after. I guess it reminds me a little bit about the Midnight Breed series, because in each of those there are couples, but they all in the end find their lovers, and they get to be with their lovers at the very end. Everybody is alive, and their lovers are all there. So, yeah. This book is part of a series called The Folk of the Air. And, obviously it technically has 4 books in it. But 3 main and 1 not. And there's also a technical sequel to it called Stolen Air. In the darkest part of the forest. So, you know, the Stolen Hair duology. I rate this a 4.5, and I don't really have a reason why I didn't rate it a 5, but it's just a 4.5. I don't think it's perfect. There were some spots within it that could have been better, but in all, the way she wrote it, it was really good, and I enjoyed it. And I'm glad I read it. So, if you guys think it deserve a like, comment, and your lovely subscription, why don't you go ahead and drop it down below. I apologize so freaking much about all my sneezing in this episode. I'm going to try to edit the majority of it out as much as I can. So, I will see you guys next illusion.